We are live.
Well, going live.
Not really, but
from Bukuro.
From Bukuro. The Bukuro boys are back
Bukuro
in Bukuro.
Boys are back in Bukuro.
And they never left.
We both injured our legs this week, or foot. I sprained my ankle, and Dan broke his toe.
No. So it's cuboid. It's the cuboid. It's like right there.
Oh, it's not actually your toe.
No,
it's like
not
the side
toe.
of your.
So it's the thing. Foot. It's the thing that connects to the what are they called? Metatarsals.
Oh, right.
So it's like toes, metatarsal, and then there's a few bones here which are like, I don't know, just like
connective.
Yeah, like midfoot arch stabilization bones, basically. So I looked it up, and it's like weirdly rare to break because it's a fracture, but yeah, you just normally don't really break it because it's like deep in your foot. Okay, basically, right?
Is this from kickboxing?
Yeah,
or is it,
kickboxing.
So you kicked someone, or someone kicked you?
So I kicked my partner, and I guess I hit his like knee.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, kind of like outside lateral part of my foot. Yeah, I heard a pop and felt a pain.
Oh, you actually heard a sound. Okay, yeah. It's usually
pretty good indicator.
It's usually not a good sign. Yeah, it's usually a bad sign.
Well, I mean, my shoulder sounds like it's made out of popcorn that's being cooked all the time. So I don't know. You get used to the pops.
Yeah, but if there's a definite like crack or something, then it's probably not great.
Yeah, it was weird because like I finished sparring that day as well, and I like didn't really. Yeah, I mean, I just kept going, right? And granted, it's, adrenaline, so you're just not going to feel anything. And you're like, oh, you know, that probably just hurt or something, like funny bone or whatever. Like, yeah, it sucks, but
there was, when I sprained my ankle, there was like about like 40 seconds after it, like it actually felt weirdly good. And I was like, it's hard to explain, but it's like, it kind of like went numb in like almost a good way. And I was like, what is this happening here? Did it just like super stretch it like out or like something? But yeah.
So like what you stepped. So first of all, it was your right foot?
It was my right foot. Okay. Yeah.
And you like stepped off.
I was just coming down the steps, the stairs in the station, and just like stepped on it. Yeah. Kind of the wrong way. And I guess like twisted it in a direction it's not supposed to. But
was it like mid-flight, or was it like at the bottom?
No, it was at the very bottom. Okay, it was like the last step when you're trying to land.
It's a silver lining, I suppose. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, but it didn't really start to hurt until quite like an hour later or something. Until that, I was just like, I was probably fine. And then on my way home, I was like, yeah, it's definitely not that fine. But
yeah, the pain is funny. Like I noticed this earlier as well, where it's like it always comes like after the fact, almost, right? Like it's more of a like, hey, don't use this, because it's
trying to signal you like it's in repair mode or whatever. Yeah,
I think it was on Thursday also. Like I could like focus on my foot, and I could feel the pain more deeply, right?
If you were thinking about it, or
kind of, if I like put my awareness there, I could like go into the pain or something, which like normally is just like background noise and not really present. Yeah. But first bone I broke.
Definitely could have been worse, I think. I mean, if you're still carrying out daily life tasks, not really.
Yeah, it's just annoying. Like what I'm freaked out about is just it becoming a problem for the rest of my life or something.
Nah, I wouldn't. No, I highly doubt it. I mean, it's not.
Well, it's like nothing. I know. I've definitely noticed the slowdown and healing capacity of my body. Right, like my earlobe piercing is like nearly 3 years old, and like it bled yesterday.
It's still bleeding.
Right? So I don't know if it's like a metal allergy, but it's titanium.
That seems kind of unusual. I mean, I would think like anything 3 years into it, it's like still sensitive. It's pretty.
Yeah, I think I need to like switch to a different metal or something because I'm running out of ideas what it could possibly be.
Sounds more like a metal allergy then, or something, or some other.
But like titanium allergies are super rare. So what do I think I'm part of the 0.01% of people who are allergic to titanium, which like contains no nickel, right? Because usually it's the nickel allergy that makes people allergic to even stainless steel.
Interesting. Yeah. Could just be the regular movement or something. Or
I don't
irritation.
fuck with it much though.
You're not really touching
not
it that
really.
much throughout the day, or
no. I mean, certainly, Connor got his pierced around the same time as I did, and he was messing with it way more. He would touch it all the time, and I think even as it was healing, I think he kept it in all the time for the first week.
Right.
And then
you're not supposed to do that, or.
Well, no. So you're supposed to keep it in all the time while it's healing. So for an earlobe piercing, that should basically be 2 months. You're just not supposed to take it out.
Yeah.
But I think he said he after the first week, he started taking it out at night, which you're not supposed to do because you're just irritating the
tissue, right?
Yeah. Well, what's it called? Fistula. Yeah. The flesh tunnel that your body builds. So I don't know. I feel like I'm more careful than most, but maybe I just have sensitive skin. I get a lot of shaving irritation.
Okay, yeah, could be.
Not careful.
Could be, yeah.
But
could be just a skin issue, yeah.
Just need to baby everything all the time. There's zero durability. To
3 years is definitely pretty rough. I would be questioning what is happening there if it's 3 years in and it's not healing.
The piercing artist who, by all accounts, he appears in a body mod documentaries. It seems like he's one of the well-known figures here in Tokyo. So seemed plenty experienced to me, and he didn't really have a satisfying answer for
it seems why. It seems like even if you cut your hand off or something, after 3 years it'd probably be pretty stable. I mean, it's a long time, right?
Yeah, 3 years. Yeah, I know. It's bizarre. And earlobes are supposed to be the easiest to heal. Basically, it's tiny little. Yeah, I know. I guess the issue with them is they don't get that much blood flow overall, but it's still on your head, and it's pretty fleshy, soft.
Blood flow issue or some other. I wonder if you split your tongue, how long that would take to heal.
Yeah,
a few. Well, I guess they don't do it all at once. They try to
do they?
No, I think
they might do it in a few.
I think what they do is first of all just pierce it, and then gradually start widening the piercings until it kind of just splits it.
Interesting. Yeah, I think this might be one of those body mods where there's a few ways to do it because I was looking at one of the body mod subreddits online, and people were sharing photos, and there was one
tongue splitting.
Yeah. But there's one that I remember where it was it looked like it had been cut, and then they would stitch the edges or something.
Well, I think it's the same thing where they just gradually widen it or something.
So it didn't look gradual. It looked like they had cut it, and then they tried to stitch the edge where it was cut or something. I don't know.
Yeah, interesting.
There's probably a few ways to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but have you heard of this gets graphic, but metotomy?
No.
So it's the splitting of the underside of the penis.
Oh wow, sounds painful. Yeah,
it's pretty gnarly. But
for what?
I think for sounding, people who inserting metal things up their urethra, basically.
Oh.
So it's to widen your urethral opening so you can fit larger sounding rods
from the underside, or sounds painful. Yeah,
but so it's you're basically I mean, it's if you can imagine a Prince Albert piercing through the bottom, it's that, but then delete all the tissue between your urethra and the bottom of the Prince Albert. Right?
Yeah, I'm still having a hard time visualizing it. Might have to just look at it, Google it later.
Yeah.
When Aaron Lang and Valerie were here from Stone Church Press, we were in Akihabara and we were looking through kind of sex shops and stuff, and there's a huge amount of that penis insertion,
sounding stuff.
Yeah,
crazy.
It's crazy. There's a lot of really.
Was it pretty gnarly stuff?
It was very intense.
Just comically large metal instruments or something.
Yeah. And it's just all these braces and kind of kind
ribbed metal rods
yeah.
with bumps and textures.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. It's wild. It's wild what human sexuality can do. I suppose, right? Yeah. So there are nerves down there. I guess.
I was thinking about that the other day. Like I was thinking about some hardcore, like SM stuff the other day.
Like what?
Because I met this girl that is, I guess, doing that kind of stuff, and I was just thinking, yeah, like what is like the neural? Well, again, I mean like very extreme stuff, like like heavy genital piercing, and almost like classified as like mutilation. I guess I don't know how else to really describe it.
It's body art.
Yeah, body art, right? So I'm just thinking, yeah, what's neurologically happening there? I mean, is that similar to the thing where you injure your foot and for like 30 seconds it actually feels pretty good before it starts like reality sinking in? Like, is that the same space it's accessing, or is it just like a totally different?
Yeah, brain? I mean, I have to imagine people do it for different reasons. But I think it's I don't know. It strikes me as just kind of I don't know, like you're chasing a high or something. Yeah. It's just like you're chasing the extreme. I think, right?
Well, I think that's the thing where it's not like, I guess what I was trying to get at is like things which go far beyond just like, I don't know, power dynamics or something, where you're like literally getting quite physically damaged, where it's not just like it's obviously not just like some mental thing, right? If you're like going home with,
oh wait, so this is like BDSM, but you're like getting stapled or something?
Well, like, yeah, like very, again, kind of genital things we were just talking about, or like getting very damaged and burned.
Oh, and,
you're going home with things which probably a medical professional would qualify as like actual injuries or something, like not just trivial, like, I don't know, situation dynamics or something, but things which are like actually leaving you with stuff which possibly would need medical attention if you just like didn't really do much about it. But
yeah, it's so there's some I heard the like guy who's into wrestling kind of talk about it, but there's stunts that you can do with pretty little like medical implication, like staples to the forehead, or like stapling your scrotum or something.
But wrestlers get destroyed.
Yeah. But like, so that's a different story. But like specifically, there are like kind of, these types
stunts that you can,
where it's like, you get cut up, and you'll probably need a Band-Aid. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't sound like that's what you're talking about. You're talking about like pretty, borderline mutilation. Type stuff,
well, things which would go beyond merely like, I don't know, cosplay or something, or like power dynamic kind of stuff, where you're like, most people would be like, yeah, I'm not down to get like go home with my arm flesh burned off, or my penis pulled out of place or whatever, mutilated or something. Like, I think most people would have a hard time with seeing the immediate appeal of like, why would you do this, or like what's the
so like, I don't know, it's I think it stems from repression basically, right? It's all kind of sadistic, masochistic behavior. I know. I mean, I kind of draw parallels to Japanese salarymen getting blind drunk on Saturday night or something, right? Like it's,
you're kind of seeking oblivion, I guess, right? Yeah. Like, I think the salaryman thing is kind of like that in a way.
Yeah. Like, I mean, extreme pain is almost like an out of body experience, right? Where you like, so it's like very like you're on the edge of your seat because of how like stimulated your nervous system is because of it, right?
Yeah.
And at the same time, I think there's kind of a sensation of like you're about to like pop out of your body because you're like you're like in fight or flight, but like you're like not doing either, I guess. So
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
just
yeah,
that
yeah.
extreme pressure behind you.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's probably a rush, right? It's
Yeah,
probably
yeah,
just
yeah.
like extreme in the momentness, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, what's the next morning like? Like, you know, you've got to just
That's what
got to regret it, right? Like you've got to be like, oh no, what did I do, right?
I guess. I mean, that's another factor where if you're literally injuring your body to a point where you probably need some possibly medical attention or some kind of things which are going to have, I guess, like non-trivial physical consequences.
Yeah.
I mean, what, like, there must be like some, I guess, like hangover equivalent or like some equivalent of like, damn, this just kind of sucks. Like, I fucked up my tongue or penis or something, or some kind of come down, I guess. I mean, I don't really know.
Yeah. But then imagine being the person whose job it is to inflict that, I guess.
Well,
Right?
that's like the person, that's the kind of person I met who had me thinking about this. And like, according to her, it just got all quite boring.
Okay.
You know, she's like literally just like, yeah, I was like, you know, feeding this dude hormones to fuck up his genitals even more, and then like stretching and, you know, mashing them and, you know, burning his arm off, and like, and to her it's just like
burning it off.
Well, just like, you know, melting the flesh and using all these kind of instruments and torture things. And I mean, to her it just sounded like it was like, yeah, where do we go from here? Like, it's quite.
Where were you talking to this human? Just at a Starbucks or something? Like,
well, just
I'm trying to picture.
Let's just say through the extended friends network.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I've met a few people that are. I mean, it's just one person, but I've met a few similar people that they're kind of in that position. And
do you think this is a Japan thing, or is this a pretty?
I think it is a Japan thing to.
Germany probably too. It strikes me as German as well.
Yeah, there's that element of it. But yeah, I mean, there's a sense in which it, I guess, is almost like a rapidly burning out. Very much like, where do we go from here? Like, what other, when you've kind of like done that much.
It strikes me as stuff you do right before you know, make your final exit from this realm.
I
or
guess,
something. It's like chasing oblivion, as
like
you said, right?
But yeah, I mean, if this is like someone's day job and they're like, you know, doing it every day, then I guess you're gonna get kind of acclimated to it.
I guess, yeah. But I mean, I don't know. It takes a certain kind of person to be willing to even do one day on that job, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Like I
mean, again,
I don't know if I have the stomach for it.
Just for context, again, this is not like, you know, situational cosplays here. This is like heavy fluids damage. According to her,
it's like a red room.
Yeah,
stuff,
according to her, human flesh was consumed on a few occasions.
Allegedly,
according to her. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, this is beyond just you know, things most people, I guess, would need to sign legal waivers for or something that's going down. But yeah, I mean, I guess you can get bored of even that. So yeah.
So it reminds me of did you watch the Hostel trilogy?
I saw the original. I saw the first one.
Original is probably the best.
Which I thought was well done.
Yeah.
As with
Eli Roth, right?
Yeah, I very rarely watch like sequels to things like that, because I'm like, well, they're just cashing in. I mean, what?
Yeah, the second one was okay, and then the third one was just like they sold the name to some other production company, and it was just crap.
I think usually there's a interesting idea with some of these things, but I mean, they're probably going to start cashing in pretty fast.
Yeah.
Have very little interest.
Yeah, I thought Hostel, the first one was quite well done. But really played, I think, kind of on this.
Yeah. But again, this, like, we're talking about situations where everyone's a willing, I mean, pretty much the same tier of shit is going down, but everyone's a willing participant, which in a way is even kind of harder to understand. Because if it's just someone being tortured against their will, then you're like, okay, they're obviously trying to get out of there. But if everyone is wanting to be there, of their own will,
Right.
then you're in kind of a different headspace where things are.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of like the point of the original book of Hellraiser by Clive Barker.
I mean, I've heard of Hellraiser. I don't really know anything about.
Have you seen Hellraiser? Or
it's not Ghost Rider. It's not the flaming skull guy
no,
on the motorcycle.
Hellraiser is the Pinhead, like the guy with needles in his head.
Okay, vaguely rings a bell. What is this? A super villain or what?
Well, I mean, it's like a demon or whatever, or some kind of.
Oh, wait. Is this like Silent Hill type thing, or
no? Hellraiser
just all over the map.
Yeah.
Anything vaguely demonic or something.
Yeah, Hellraiser. Well, the film series is from the 80s, but it was based on this short novel by Clive Barker.
Okay.
So that's kind of the backstory. Is this guy has just gotten so bored with everything. So he hears that there's this like puzzle box, like this magic box, and if you can figure out how to open it, it summons these creatures called the Cenobites.
Okay.
And what they basically do is they just like take you to hell and like torture you in unimaginable ways. But the first few pages of the story or the book are like, well, that's what the main character wants because he's just bored with everything. And he's like, at least this is probably going to be more intense than anything I can even imagine. And obviously it is. And he quickly realizes it's like way worse than even imagined. Right. And that's kind of where it goes from there. But yeah, that's kind of the premise of that too.
Yeah, I don't know. There's more creative ways to dance with death, I think. I don't know. Yeah. But what? So the book is, I don't know. Is it just about this kind of human curiosity or something?
Yeah,
like
that's
pushes someone.
That's sort of what it's about.
There?
Is kind of like what curiosity or desire for kind of ramping it up more than what would seem achievable in the everyday, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, like if you think about it, everything is sort of on that spectrum, right?
Yeah.
Like even us living here in Japan, I think a lot of people kind of would be like, well, why? Like what drives you to do that, right? Like it just seems unnecessary, right? Like you have to do everything. You have to do your taxes, but you have to do it in Japanese as well, right?
Yeah.
Like why would you want to take that on, I guess, right?
Yeah, but there's certainly an added layer of burden to even surprisingly small things, which a lot of people wouldn't think about, like just paying daily bills or taxes or other
going to the store.
Yeah, they're quite standard kind of activities.
Yeah, but I don't know. Definitely not the same as raising hell, I guess. Getting dragged to hell.
Yeah. I saw some. I think it was real the other day where I think it was talking about in the context of Germany, and comparing it to Japan is countries that have lost wars. So they have all this like internalized, kind of shame or kind of anger without much immediate recourse or immediate way to deal with it. So that's why they get like sucked into these kind of weird fringe scenes or whatever, or ways of dealing with it, I guess.
Yeah. It certainly seems to like go in that direction, right? Trying to think what other examples. Yeah, I mean, Vietnam famously did not lose the war. They seem fine.
Yeah. True. Wonder what I kind of doubt there's much S&M hardcore Cenobite kind of stuff in Vietnam. Oh, I mean, I could be wrong, but
happy to be proven wrong.
Yeah. Vietnam seems like it has a pretty wholesome Buddhist.
They're like pretty conservative overall, right?
Yeah, they seem very conservative and wholesome, and most of the Vietnamese people I've met and talked about this with have kind of given that suggestion.
Yeah.
Not down for, genital stretching and burning and eating human flesh too much. Yeah.
They had their fair share some years back, I imagine. Yeah. Vietnam. Yeah. There's quite a few of them here in Tokyo as well.
Vietnamese,
right?
yeah.
Vietnamese,
There's a few. Yeah.
But remarkably, what's the word? Not isolating. What's the word? They keep to themselves very much.
Oh, they're keeping their own. Yeah. Well, they sort of give that impression in most places too.
Most places. Trying to think. Yeah, there weren't too many from where I grew up. Though, yeah, my ex-girlfriend, as I mentioned, was Vietnamese, so I got a bit of exposure to that culture there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's that monk that incinerated himself protesting.
Right.
Although I don't think that was sex-related incineration.
No.
Although I guess you could look at it in a very indirect way, because the Buddha did say in that fire sermon, like, was it the world is like a house on fire or something with desire.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Maybe you could look at it as
interesting.
Some sort of return of the repressed, maybe.
A house on fire with its desire. So by self-immolating himself, I guess that second self is redundant there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a famous this fire sermon thing from the Buddha, which pops up in some other poetry and other contexts. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be the most famous self-immolation, right?
Didn't someone just do that in the US?
It's kind of hack though, right?
What I'm not even sure were they like protesting Gaza or whatever? What was
I think it was like a Navy guy or Air Force guy or something, like some military guy, and he basically started live streaming or something, and like went to the Israel embassy in Washington and basically lit himself doused himself, and then lit himself on fire. And
seems to have been swept under the rug pretty quickly. Haven't really.
It made the rounds on the internet, but
haven't really heard to. Yeah, seems to have been. I don't know. Yeah, disappeared or not really.
I don't know.
It's a pretty incredible protest. I mean, whatever you think of it, public self-immolation is not terribly common.
Yeah, not terribly common. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess to like live stream it and stuff. But no, just everything in today's like news cycle or whatever just like doesn't stick around no matter how gnarly. Yeah. Like it's just one atrocity or whatever after another, day by day.
Did he actually? Do you know if he actually live streamed it?
Yeah, basically.
It doesn't seem like there's been any video of that.
No, there's videos.
Oh,
there's videos.
Okay,
you can watch it. It's pretty. It's pretty accessible. I mean, I don't have the.
Okay,
stuff hooked up right
I remember
now.
thinking. I heard something about that, and I was thinking this. It seems to be getting a very. I mean, it got some attention, I guess, but much less than you would expect for something of that nature.
I heard it mentioned quite a bit on sort of U.S. podcasts, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, my impression watching the video was, I know he wasn't very like composed in doing it. I guess, right? I mean, the lead up, he's pretty composed. But yeah, once you've doused yourself and you're on fire, like it's hard to keep a straight face.
Okay, guess, so it seemed like he regretted it pretty quick, or not really.
He was certainly in pain.
He was certainly not enjoying it. Yeah.
I mean, so was there a photo or a video of the Vietnamese one?
Yeah, he didn't.
Was that just a photo?
No, it was a video. He didn't bat an eye.
Yeah. So that was not.
He just maintained the same posture until he was cinders, basically.
Yeah. No, this more recent guy was definitely aware of the fact.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know if. If you're gonna like do something that's already been done. You kind of have to do it better.
Kind of have
else,
to one up it. Yeah.
I don't know if he necessarily pulled off that aspect.
Pull off the same aspect. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, hey, kudos to him for, I don't know, standing up for what he believed in, or putting money where his mouth is, so to speak, right? I'm not claiming I would be any more composed while self-immolating, but hey, I mean, your body, not mine.
Yeah.
I think wasn't there something around the time of the Trump court appearance? I thought someone else like
immolation. Oh, really? Yeah. Like just very recently?
Yeah, fairly recently, like a month or something back. I might be mistaken.
I haven't heard anything. Yeah. Although I'm pretty out of the U.S. news cycle, so I'm barely paying super much.
Did you catch anything about the debates of
just random clips, which seemed like I assume they're like AI generated, but I guess they're actually real. So
just the state of U.S. politics, right?
It's hard to believe it's like an actual excerpt from something, but
it's I know it feels like a Simpsons sketch or something of just like two old men getting into a fight or something.
Yeah,
it's just like comical in and of itself or something. I don't know.
Yeah, some incredible excerpts from that, which hard to believe is a real thing that happened.
Yeah,
but I guess it is.
Yeah, it's like there's better options around, right? It's amazing.
Yeah,
I know it's kind of I guess it's in the same vein of Japan just working themselves to death, basically. Like it doesn't have to be like this, guys. Like you're making a choice for it to be this, right?
I think that a lot of the salaryman culture seems to be on its way out, actually, from what from things I'm reading recently. Younger people certainly not eager to have the same kind of work lifestyle as their parents did.
Right.
Or, kind of carry on with it. Well, I mean, the whole lifetime employment thing is vastly kind of on its way out too.
Just like working at the same company.
Yeah. I mean, they're switching jobs a lot more frequently now, and so they don't have this kind of feudal idea of like unlimited loyalty to the same company forever or whatever.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I mean, what kind of hours are people working, I guess?
They're still working pretty insane hours a lot of the time.
Are they doing anything outside of work, I guess? Well, not anything, but I don't know. Do you, like, is it the fundamental question? I mean, are you like living to work, or are you working to live?
I think in Japan, a lot of people are just living to work without much sense of pursuing things outside of it.
Yeah. Which, I just fundamentally disagree with, I think. Right?
Yeah.
As you probably do as well.
Yeah.
As most people probably intuit, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I think there might be some change with younger generations, but it's also not clear they do have a huge amount of things they really want to do.
Well, get creative. Yeah, I mean, there's a few things you can try before you go to the sex dungeon, genital mutilation,
sex death dungeon,
or whatever,
genital mutilation dungeon.
Like,
that's probably that must be such a like profitable. I'm sure the people that are involved in that are actually making a huge amount of money, though.
Pure profit.
It probably is. It probably is pure profit.
You know how much a set of meat scissors costs? Like $10.
Yeah.
You know how much it costs to cut off a finger? It's like $1,000.
$1,000 or something. Yeah.
It's 100x return on something that you can do in half an hour.
Probably
right?
do. Yeah.
Walk to the store, buy it, come back
cheaply. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that must be. I'm sure like people that are actually specializing in that stuff are making huge amounts of bank.
Our friend, who I'll omit mentioning his name, he mentioned recently that he met someone met a girl working at Soapland, which for the listeners, basically like a brothel in Japan, right? The gimmick is they like wash you with soap, I guess, right?
Yeah.
But essentially it's just a brothel.
Yeah.
But yeah, it sounded like she was making like mad money off that, right? Like I don't know, like 40 grand a month or something.
Yeah, it's
tax
crazy.
free,
It's crazy, right?
right?
Yeah,
Just cash,
yeah.
right? Cash under the table.
Yeah.
So I know, is that the right thing to do? Yeah, I mean, I guess you could set yourself up pretty good. What, like, let's say, so 40 grand a month. I don't know, let's say 30. Let's be conservative.
Yeah.
You know, so 300 grand a year potentially or more, right? So let's say 400 grand a year and what? So let's say you start when you're like 21 and you work there until you're like 20. I don't know, let's say, yeah, let's be conservative again. Let's say you do 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what? A bit over $1 million for a few years working, right? If you're smart about it, you could
if you
flip
kept
that
it
into something.
If you didn't just spend all of it on like hosts or something,
or Louis Vuitton. Yeah, I mean both. One arguably worse than the other.
In reality, it's a lot of times possibly both at the same time. But
you can't. Yeah, right. Like if you're working a job that weighs heavily on you like that, yeah, you're gonna
seek
splash
oblivion.
out.
Yeah, you're gonna seek oblivion
either through consumerism or I don't know what would you even call like host stuff. Like it's
what's kind of like it is kind of like a fantasy oblivion in a way.
Consumerist relationship.
Yeah.
But so who are these? Like, have you met any hosts really?
Yeah, I met a bunch of them. Yeah,
like what are they? Very charismatic or something? Like, do they
Not
put
really?
all their?
I mean, it's sort of like a lot of it is just the structure of
perceived value or something.
Of going to the place and just kind of investing in the fantasy, right? I mean,
what's the fantasy that this like high profile guy will sweep you off your feet or something?
Or kind of just listen to you. Because a lot of the time they're just going there like in the morning to just like talk or something instead of like, I don't know, going to like a priest or something or like
just like
a rabbi or something. Yeah, sort of like there's that
capitalistic confessional.
Yeah, it's sort of that element of it where
pseudo-sexual capitalist confessional.
Instead of going to therapy or instead of going to like a priest or something, you just like go to the host. Or
it's funny how we just keep kind of shuffling the same kind of archetypal roles into like different slots depending on
context,
the sort of it's there's nothing new under the sun, I suppose.
Yeah, no, people are gonna seek the same outlets. If regardless of what context they're in, I guess. So that's why these like things like hosts are gonna pop up, even if it doesn't seem to make much sense, really. Because it kind of doesn't. I mean, it's a huge waste of money.
Right.
Presumably, you could just, what need does it actually fulfill? Well, kind of doesn't really. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I know it's like, I went on a date last night and the girl said I was a good listener. So should I be charging for that? Like,
I'm sure you probably could, right? You just set up a little listener tent outside the station and do Uranai fortune telling or something.
I'll probably need to invest a bit in the like getting the business off the ground and just pay people to form a line until it naturally forms,
naturally
right?
Building.
Yeah.
Well, when we were doing,
so it'd actually be an interesting experiment to run. You probably could do that.
Well, when we were doing free tarot readings in the street, like people were literally. I mean, this was like 3 a.m. or something.
Yeah,
and like even
like mid-COVID too.
It was like mid-COVID at 3 a.m. and I was just doing free tarot readings on the street corner, and like people were basically forming a line.
Yeah, I mean,
it was a pretty short line because there weren't that many people out, but
it was a line nonetheless.
But it was still a line, which again, assuming you have like a larger amount of people out, there's probably gonna be a longer line for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
All of the fortune tellers in Shinjuku, usually there's like huge amounts of people waiting.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, they're usually pretty popular.
Yeah, like how I'm trying to think. Have I seen them in Shinjuku? I know in Shibuya by Donkey there used to be
You
one or
usually see them
two.
in Shinjuku. I mean, they have like little, candles or little
Mhm.
lights with their
Yeah.
little station they set up outside.
Yeah, there's one. There's one in the station here actually that I pass by pretty much daily. It's one of these weird corridors that you don't necessarily go down unless you know it's there,
Yeah,
unless
yeah.
it's like convenient for you to go
Yeah,
down it.
sometimes they're tucked out of the way in these
Yeah,
little side corners or whatever.
but yeah, I don't know. Have you ever like gone to any of those? I don't know.
Run night? No, not
No.
really. I mean, it seems pretty time consuming. I mean, they're usually giving pretty detailed, long readings.
Mm,
Certainly looks like you get what you pay for.
mm, yeah, yeah. I mean, my Japanese language skill would not be anywhere near enough to
To like get
even
through it. Yeah.
yeah, even like understand if this is a good reading
Good or
or
bad.
just
Yeah. Yeah.
like half-assed or something.
Mm.
Yeah. Hmm. What lens do they do it through? Is it like Shinto or something or
I think it's almost like Chinese derived. Like there's a lot of seems like palm reading kind of
mm,
stuff and like kind of Chinese astrology base from what I can work out. I mean, I
mm,
could be totally wrong with this, but that's what a lot of it seems to be.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Yeah.
hmm.
I mean, they go pretty heavy on the Chinese zodiac stuff here too,
Mm.
along with the blood groups and other kinds of classifications.
Monthly zodiac not so much, I think, right?
Yeah, I
Or a
mean,
bit.
I don't think it's more of a Western thing. I think they're
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
mostly checking the Chinese one.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What's your zodiac, if you don't mind sharing your
Libra,
Chinese?
Libra. Oh,
Okay.
and Chinese is rat.
Rat?
Yeah. What about you?
Pig.
Pig,
Right?
yeah. Although
It's funny how there's like one cool one and then
yeah,
all the rest are kind of
I
like
guess in the original context they're like all supposed to be cool, but
I guess, yeah.
it certainly sounds like a bit of a letdown
Yeah.
if like one kid has like dragon or something.
I bet the guy
And then
the guy who invented it was
it was
probably a
probably a
dragon.
dragon. Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely a bit of a letdown. I think that's why like a lot of Western people kind of don't pay it super attention
Mm,
because they're like, everything but dragon kind of sucks.
right.
It's like you don't really want to be a monkey. You don't really want to
Mm,
be a pig or a rat or
mm. Rabbit. What else is
rabbit or
there?
whatever.
Horse?
Horse, yeah.
Is there a horse?
I think so. Yeah, yeah,
I think so. Dog?
yeah. I think it's dog.
Yeah.
But yeah, none of them tiger. Well, tiger's
Mm,
kind of cool too.
mm.
Tiger and dragon are kind of the
Yeah, Tiger's good.
you
Yeah.
would kind of be excited to have if you're like a little kid that is getting into this stuff.
Mm-hmm,
But
mm-hmm,
yeah, other than that, it's like doesn't sound too cool,
mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah. Yeah, it was also something like I think we just have like a minute here.
Yeah.
Sorry, short one today since have some
Have
plans
some plans
afterwards.
some sketchy plans,
Some
sketchy
highly
plans.
secretive
Highly
plans.
secretive plans. Yeah.
Yeah, but I remember like when we learned about the Chinese zodiac, it's like our whole class is the same age except for like one girl who was like a year
yeah,
older.
they would be right. Yeah, 'cause
right?
it's an entire
Yeah.
class, right?
So it's kind
So
of
there's
like
not
weird
really-
to even like it's like, oh, you're all pigs.
You're all
like,
pigs. You're all fucking
Except for you,
monkeys,
you're a
yeah.
rat.
Yeah.
Well, I think she was a rabbit technically, but it was just kind of
True. Yeah, everyone in a class would be that. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's probably another reason why it's not such a
So it's like
thing
it's
in
not
the West.
yeah, it's not like cool or
doesn't sound exciting
Yeah.
or like something you'd want to dig into deeper.
there's like there's no further analysis you can do like because if you introduce like the monthly zodiac, it's like, oh, like I'm a Gemini, I'm a Libra,
Yeah.
right? Like it's whoa, like what's that mean, right? Like
Yeah.
there's a mystique and interest around it, but yeah.
I'm sure as with many things in its original context, there's a lot of subtlety and ways you could analyze it. But if you just get hit with the product pitch, I guess, coming from outside of that background, then yeah, it maybe doesn't seem as compelling as the Western one.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, I
think that's it for today.
Yeah, that's it for
Maybe
today. I think that was an
leave it
interesting.
for next time. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of detours there.
Lots of little interesting explorations, experiments in conversation.
Hellraiser and Chinese Zodiac. What's the connection?
What's the connection?
Yeah.
Right. Well, thanks, folks. Catch you
guys.
next time.
Peace out.
Bye-bye.
Later.